Today, I want to talk about the BMW 5 Series and do a little tier list of the best looking and the worst looking 5 Series. So, to start, let's talk about the BMW E12. So, this car was produced from 1972 through 1981, and it had a real dream team of designers who worked on it. The main designer was Paul Brock, the head of BMW design at the time, and he designed some other pretty famous cars like the original Mercedes 600 Pullman, the Mercedes Pagoda SL, the W108 and W1019 sedans, which is the predecessor of the S Class, the W114 and W115, which is the predecessor of the E Class. He also did the E21, which was the first BMW 3 Series, and the E23, which was the first BMW 7 Series, and the BMW Turbo Gullwing concept, which would later go on to inspire the M1. But he was not the only designer. His co-designer was the one and only Marcello Gandini of Bertone fame. He designed legendary cars like the Lamborghini Miura, the Countach, Espada, the Urraco, and the Diablo concept. He also did the Lancia Stratos, the Chisetta Moroder V16T. It was kind of based on the Diablo. It had a 16-cylinder engine. Look it up if you've never heard of it. He also did the second-gen Renault 5, the original Volkswagen Polo. The E12 was the first generation of 5 Series, and it replaced the new class sedans. E12 also introduced the BMW naming system that they still use today, where the first number would stand for the series and the other numbers would stand for the engine size. The numbers don't really correlate to engine size anymore, but the general naming system is still in use. Also, for this car, there was no M5 yet. The top of the range was the 530 M535i that you can see right here. Now, what do I think of the design of this car? I mean, it's designed by legends. It looks amazing in my opinion. It's really classy, very well proportioned. I think I would have to I'll put it in A tier for now. We'll see if anything changes later. But for now, yeah, let's put it in A tier. And the E28 was the second generation 5 Series. It was designed by Klaus Luthe. He was the new BMW head of design who succeeded Paul Brock. He worked on quite a few German cars, a bunch of NSU Princes. NSU was one of the companies that later formed Audi, or Auto Union, which would later become Audi. The most notable of these is the NSU RO80, which was a large, very futuristic for the time luxury sedan with a rotary engine, which was very unusual. It won the Car of the Year in 1968. Other than that, he designed the Audi 50, which was a little Audi hatchback. It would later become the base for the first Volkswagen Polo. He also contributed quite a lot to the general design language of Audi. Besides the E28, he also designed the E30 BMW 3 Series, the E31 8 Series, the original 8 Series, and the E32 7 Series. Now, what do I think of the design of this car? It looks like the evolution of the E12. It looks a little sharper, a little more modern, but honestly, it pretty much looks the same. So I think I'm gonna also put it in A tier. Honestly, I think the E28 might actually look a little better. So I'm gonna move the E12 down to B tier. We can still change that later, but for now, I'm gonna put it in B tier and the E28 in A tier. So next is the E34, the third generation 5 Series. Now the E34 looks a lot more modern than the two previous generations. It's a lot more boxy, a lot more 90s looking. It was designed by Ercole Spada and Jay Mays. Ercole Spada worked for Zagato most of his career. His notable cars are the Aston Martin DB4 Zagato, the Alfa Romeo Giulietta SZ, Z standing for Zagato, Alfa Romeo Giulia TZ1, Z standing for Zagato. You get it, Z stands for Zagato. The Alfa Romeo 155, the Lancia Flavia Sport Zagato, the Lancia Fulvia Sport Zagato, the Lamborghini 3500 GTZ. Jay Mays is an American designer. He worked for Audi at first. He designed the Audi 80 B3 and the Audi 100 C3. And the Audi Avus Quattro concept and the Quattro Spider concept, which would inspire a lot of the later Audi design language. You could even say it inspired sort of the R8 look, which came out more than 10 years later. He also designed the Volkswagen Golf Mark III and the Volkswagen Polo Mark III. And the Volkswagen Concept 1, he contributed to that, which later became the new Beetle. He generally helped push the aerodynamic design at Audi and Volkswagen. He also worked at Ford, where he spearheaded the retro-futuristic design of the late 90s and early 2000s. The E34 was the first 5 Series available with V8 and with all-wheel drive. It introduced stability control and traction control and could do 0 to 60 miles an hour in under 6 seconds, which at the time was really fast. Now, what do I think of the E34? I think it's a really good looking car. It's quintessentially 90s, all square, very classy, very conservative. I think I'm going to have to give the E34, I think I'll put it in B tier for now, and then later on, if I have to change it, I'll change it. So the next car on the list is the E39, and this was designed by Joji Nagashima, who doesn't really have that many other cars. I couldn't find that much about him. He also designed the E90 3 Series and the BMW Z3. This was also the first car made under Chris Bangle, the new head of design for BMW. A very controversial figure, we'll get to him later. It's often regarded as the best 5 Series of all time, and I probably agree with that. It introduced a bunch of aluminum suspension components, aluminum chassis components. Not that aluminum wasn't used before, but in this car it was used a lot more extensively. It was also the first M5 to feature a V8, which was the legendary S62 4.9 liter V8. I mean, I don't think there's a lot to say about this car. It's basically perfect. I think this is a strong S tier. So the next car after the E39 was the E60, actually designed by Chris Bangle, the very controversial BMW design figure of the late 90s and early 2000s. Chris Bangle designed quite a few cars. He did the Fiat Coupe in 1993, the E65 7 Series, the E63 6 Series, E85 Z4, the E93 Series, the E83 X3 and the E53 X5, the BMW Gina concept, which was the famous shape-shifting fabric concept car. He oversaw the revival of Mini and Rolls-Royce, so overall he's had a pretty big impact on BMW no matter what you think of him. The E60 introduced a lot of new technology to the 5 Series. It introduced the iDrive infotainment system. It introduced a heads-up display, active cruise control, active steering, adaptive headlights, night vision, lane departure warning, and voice control. It also featured an insane 5-liter V10 engine in the M5. Now, what I think of the design of this car? Honestly, it's pretty weird. It's a very big departure from the previous BMW design language. It's kind of bulbous, honestly, but the back is square, so I don't know. I don't really like it, to be honest. It's not the ugliest thing in the world, but it's not great. I'm gonna put it in C tier. Now, after the E60 came the F10. The F10 was designed by Jacek Fröhlich under the head of design Adrian van Hooijdonk. The F10 introduced the hybrid system to the 5 Series. It was the first dual clutch gearbox and the first turbocharged V8 on the M5. It introduced rear wheel steering, electric power steering versus hydraulic. It had a double wishbone front suspension, had an electronic instrument cluster, and it also introduced automatic parking. It was the only 5 Series to have the controversial Gran Turismo body style, which was a sort of a fastback, hatchback kind of thing. And as I already said, it replaced the V10 with a more powerful turbocharged V8, but obviously lost the amazing sound of the V10. What do I think about the design of the F10? I mean, I think it's amazing. It's a return back to proper BMW design, in my opinion. It looks a lot more conservative. It's proportioned a lot better. I don't know. I just think it's a really, really good looking car. Probably the best looking 5 Series ever, in my opinion. But I am a little biased because I used to have one of these. I think I'm going to put the F10 in S tier with the E39. So the next car after the F10 is the G30 slash F90, where the regular car is called the G30 and the M5 is called the F90. This car was designed by Karim Habib, who also designed the F01 7 Series and is now the head of design at Kia. Probably designed a bunch of Kias. I don't really care. This car introduced a bunch of sort of what we call modern technology: driver assists, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, gesture control, a digital key. It was also in the M5 version, the first M5 to have an all-wheel drive. You could send all the power to the back, but it was the first M5 to feature an all-wheel drive system. Now, what do I think about the design of this car? It's like an evolution of the F10. I think it's a little sharper, a little more sportier, but does it look better? In my opinion, no. I think it looks a little worse, but it's still a very, very good looking car. So I think I'm gonna put it in A tier. And finally, we have the G60 slash G90, with the regular car being the G60 and the M5 being the G90. This car was designed by Domagoj Dukic, the person who was the head of BMW design until recently. I mean, I think he sucks. I'm not gonna list his designs because they're all pretty bad. He kind of ruined BMW styling, in my opinion. A lot of people seem to like the new styling because the cars are selling, but every enthusiast I've talked to really dislikes it. I mean, I think it looks ugly as hell. Notable things about the G90: it has the first electric 5 Series, the i5. Is that good? I don't know. Not really. Is it bad? It's fine. So, what do I think about the design of this car? I think it's kind of ugly as hell, especially from the front and from the side. It looks disgusting. The wagon from the back looks okay, in my opinion. I think I'm gonna put it in D tier, where it belongs. And that there is my tier list of BMW 5 Series design. Please comment what you think. Comment your own tier list. Comment your suggestions. Comment future video suggestions. And thank you for watching.